Yes, so for inspiration, because you spoke about inspiration, so...
Come on, Frank. Inspire us.
Yes, yes. No, I was also inspired by something. So it works. Usually I don't plan things, but somebody seems to plan in a way.
Okay, yeah. So you had some inspiration today.
Yeah, yes. Yesterday evening we had a nice talk with, exchange with Suzanne, my partner, who left just now, and about a mantra, and because I've been in a spiritual path since 25 years, which include also a mantra. So it's more bhakti path, and so welcome, nice to you. You can come closer a little bit if you want.
Have you got? Is this chair here for we want to sit up and have like a?
No, it is
one to one. Probably close enough, anyway.
So yes, because I call this meeting, my intention was to not just talk the talk, but walk the walk, like we say. So it means not just to talk about esoteric things and what is your nature, and but to also live it, in daily life, and because you might have some tendencies left to have a preference for what is pleasant, and we don't like so much what is not pleasant. And that I resume a little bit what last time what we spoke about, but by turning away from discomfort, we keep the wheel on. So we are trapped in our own trick by turning away from what we don't like and have a preference for what we like. We create duality, and we are through the mind, and the mind, because we tend to be identified with the mind, so we don't see the trick so easily.
That's almost like spinning the hamster wheel more.
Yes, by identifying by the mind and wanting what I like and not what I like, and we are in. So how to go out of it? And it's like an hamster in a spinning. So. And so we usually go through many kind of whatever practice stuff like this, and we think that where is the way out? Yes, and we're still in our golden cage, looking how to come out of it. So we hear these messages like we all heard. You are that, Tatwamasi. And it might have reached something, touched something in us, resonance, and like a recognition. Oh yes, that's what I am. That's my nature. Intuitively, there is an intuitive recognition or knowledge that that's my nature. And we understand. We have been explained that the cause of that is because we identify with a form. So if I call this I, then I call this you. And anytime this you can behave in a way I don't like, so when you behave nicely, I is happy. When you behave not as I like, then I is unhappy. That is the basic functioning of which create and sustain duality.
Could you repeat the last line? What you said? When you were what? That I am unhappy.
When you, because every other one is you, right? Because I believe I identify as I, so this is you, this is also you, right? So when you behave as I like, then I is happy, is open. When you behave in a way I don't like, then I closed. And the same for you. When I behave the way you like, you is happy. When I behave the way you don't like, then you close and is unhappy. But if we try to fix that and stay in that realm of action, then it's impossible to go out of it, because it's the nature of things to be like that. So that's the question you had to Gangama last time also. So, but as she said, it's good when it happened, because this deep feeling of sadness or frustration is grace showing up, to whose grace is coming to beat us a little bit, to wake up us from the dream. It's not nice, but otherwise we'll stay sleepy, you know. So that's how I see it when something happens. To more and more, first we react to things and we try to control it. We want not to be like that. But more and more we open and recognize this at the end of God, of the grace of the Guru, who's trying to wake up us from the dream. So, but it comes slowly, and so we learn slowly to open and to stay open with discomfort. Like when your friend were acting like this and you were frustrated, did you feel you were open or closed when you had this reaction?
Oh, I was
Did you
totally
feel
closed.
Closed, you see?
Closed, and not only that time, even after that, like two, three
Continue after, yes.
continue.
Yeah.
Even I tried. Next day, I discussed with him the whole situation. I thought it's over after discussion, but even then I
Yeah.
come, I still see
Yeah.
like volcanoes are
Yeah.
arising.
But what is our business is our business, and his business is his business. So if you felt frustrated and like that, that's what we don't like to feel. But that's the treasure that we find the strength to experience that willfully without pushing it away. Then it can reveal its true nature. If we always push away discomfort of or frustration, if we push it away, then we cannot see its face. So we have some kind of devils which we don't like to see. And if we continue to push them out, then we cannot know them. But if we are willing to stay and show me your face, show me, then we can uncover and strengthen that. So my own experience is to do that, to really not run away from that and say, instead of that, stay here and show me your face. You know? If you are scared, then you will. This always will stay in your system, because when the person is triggering you, it was something which was there, it was hidden. The iceberg, 99% is hidden. And the person said this, behaved like that, and it touched something which came out. So the normal reaction is to go there and to try to fix, to hold the object perceived, the person or situation, to hold it and try to fix it. That's a normal reaction of a human being. But if we want to evolve from that, we can pause, relax, stop, bring back attention to the subject with experiencing the discomfort instead of staying there, you see? Because your attention stay on the object and try to manipulate, to change it, or to, you understand? So to stay here and to keep attention, to bring back attention to the subject, to me, who is experiencing that. So the idea is to not run away from anything. Of course, if some practical situation happens, there is like right now there is since 3 days a bulldozer at my windows, so I can put some earplug. You can, should not be stupid, so you can take practical actions. But, yes.
The way that works, though, is it kind of related, it seems, but you know, the way we kind of look for validation, we form groups and whatever, and in a way it's a search for validation from each other, which is really kind of validating a self identity, which is kind of a false, made-up identity. So if ever we kind of, it seems like if ever we're offended or whatever, it's just trying to maintain this sense of self that is actually a made-up sense of self. Do you know what I mean? And
yes,
it seems like
yes,
in
I agree
life
with.
we just kind of like constantly look for validation and to reinforce the way that
Yes, all
it's kind
is,
of related. I
it's
think,
all
really.
sustained by the wish to not die as identity. I is always fighting for survival.
Yeah.
This is what you say in a way. No? I is always fighting for survival.
And
So
it carries through into like this idea that we have about ourselves, this identity that really
Yes,
our,
and
the
he
true our true
and he
being
get
is beyond,
food
behind
by
that, you know.
yes, and he
Yeah.
get food, as you said, by recognition.
Mm.
We had this discussion this morning also with Suzanne. You know, the need for love, the need for appreciation, the need to be understood, the need to be seen. All this is I, me, right? So if we want to go beyond that, we have to be willing to face that and to feel the discomfort, how it feels to be not seen. Can I take it? Can I feel how it feels to not be seen, to not be loved, to not be understood? We want that, and we know even through relationship we wish that, to be understood, to be seen, and we can to some extent, but it's limited. So the one has his own computer set up from birth, and maybe some before that, and we cannot really understand the other one. So I believe that it's better to get used to it, that the other one cannot really understand, and to be okay with that.
I think if I remember rightly, when Amma kind of replied to maybe your question as well, was it something about when there's two, there's always going to be,
Yes.
you know, it's not, we kind of expect that it's going to become like a perfect kind of unity, but there's always going to be.
Yes.
Do you
Yes.
remember that bit when, it seemed like,
Maybe
she kind of said it's never going to be perfect, you know.
Maybe
in a
it
way.
can come closer to perfection.
Yes.
Some couple, for example, have very good karma, golden karma. My first guru was saying, whether you have very good karma or bad karma, they are both chains. Some are golden chains, some are iron chains, but both are chains. So even good karma, very good karma, you can have very flowing relationship and like this, but it's just good karma, and it's but it's not, it's still in the realm of two. So,
Yes.
yes.
Also, it's like a ticking time bomb.
Huh?
It's
A
like
ball.
a ticking time bomb.
Taking what?
Ticking
Time bomb. Time bomb.
Time bomb.
ticking away. Tick.
Ready to explode.
It's
Yes,
a,
yes,
It's
yes.
like a bomb waiting to explode at some point in future.
Yeah, in this life, or maybe if there is a life.
Yeah.
Anything, yes. It's
Yeah, like when things are good, you just have to wait. You know, eventually it turns. It keeps
Yes.
changing. Turning,
Yes, like
so.
again, this morning we had this discussion, and you know, when we find somebody with, oh, you saw that person, she's very shiny. But if you stay on I don't trust too much my eyes about that, even the subtle, because it can change. You know, you don't know, maybe somebody is in a deep sadhana and this, and after 10 years he meets as a partner, an experience, the person die, and he go. So many things can happen. So it's difficult to just believe anything we see.
Yeah.
It's very, even the guru we meet, you know, it's we can maybe have an intuitive perception or something, but so many people, including myself, have been deceived by guru. Some stuff happened because they might have reached some kind of liberation levels, but not complete. Then when there is some holes coming, then it's always the same thing coming back. Power, money, sex, and so on. So, of course, we cannot put all of them in that, but a lot had some trouble like that because they thought they were done, but something was hidden. Yes, even from them probably. Yes, this we don't know. Yes. But anyway, to go in this discussion is not really in our practical business to how to deal with things, because now if we are interested in practical spirituality, what to do now with whatever I experience. So if what we talked last time, we understand that to being, which is our nature, is the ultimate medicine. To be here and not to run away from anything, to learn to take things, and to slowly, now we have the habit, because we are identified with the mind, to make a big difference between pain and pleasure. but it's like a kind of training to rise above that up to a point that we can't make a difference. So through the mind we make a difference, of course, because the mind separates like that. But consciousness, which is witness of all this, has no preference, has no notion of good and bad. So that would be our, in a way, target, which is not somewhere else here, but it has been covered by the illusion of being a separate being. But by realizing we are this undifferentiated, unseparated consciousness, which is witness of all this, and which is loving all as it is, accepting all as it is without preference, which we can call it love. So now how to realize that we are that and uncover that in a practical way, and combining also with personal growth, spiritual growth, like that. So
Frank, do you think, when you are consciously on that path, and that is your aspiration to that you kind of realise that actually everything that happens in your life is a lesson to it, and it seems like something takes over then that will beyond what we think we should do to do that. Like it's like a life, you could call it life guru or whatever, but life starts to teach you things. Maybe it happens all the time, but we don't recognise. But
yes,
when you consciously start to look at it, you can see everything as a lesson, maybe in a way, and especially when you're aspiring on the path towards truth. It really feels like something takes over. Like.
Yes, I see the same way. Yes, life is the guru. So if we open our eyes more and more, we see it more and more.
Sometimes it could be kind of hard to actually see that. Sometimes maybe certain things happening, and
because we don't try.
Or whatever,
the reason is, I think I see it like that because we close. It's an habitude, opening, closing. When something I don't like, at any level, emotional, mental, physical, pain or anything, something we don't like, we close. I like, I open.
Sure.
So
I deal with that.
Yes, so I would say the very to go at the core of this disease, to have a preference, would be to witness that, to observe that system of pushing and pulling. Pushing, I like, I don't like. Just looking at that. That's also what Buddha said. Suffering comes from having a desire or a preference. So now, if we understand that the way to realize our true nature is to stay here, to stop avoiding. It's not about reaching somewhere, it's more about stopping to go out and staying here, home, not avoiding. So now which tool we can use to be here? Because we have the habit of the mind, or attention, we call it attention. Attention as a habit to go out. From the center, it's going outward. So, and grasp object. It's like a tentacle, or this animal in the sea.
Octopus.
Yeah. Octopus. But so if we see attention like that, and through the five senses, and through emotion and thought, we perceive and grasp objects. So consciousness, which is first undifferentiated, by grasping object, create also a subject, and it's such a strong habit how to come out of it. So, a nice way easy way to represent it is always the same. It's a circle. Because in a wheel, in a car or any wheel, there is all points. Any point on the wheel is moving when it turns. But probably there is one point which is not moving. And where it is? In the center. So if we can keep that in mind, and realize that, oh, where is this point which is not moving? The center of perception. So what would be the word? Because attention is flowing out on object of consciousness perceived by consciousness. Right? So how to do that? How to bring back attention, which we call chit shakti, bring back attention to chit or consciousness, the center. So ultimately consciousness is not a point, but it's a closest representation for the mind, this still point, the center. So this, I wanted to speak today, we talked about mantra, and there is different kind of practices, and so mantra is, what is the purpose of to practice mantra or japa? So, because people don't really explain it, really, we speak about mantra, japa, but it would be interesting to explain really why we do it in this context. So we always do, in my tradition we call it simran, mean to remember. So we practice remembrance of the world the whole day and night. When we dream, we practice to remember the world, our friends, our past memories, the food I like, what I want tomorrow. So the mind is busy with thinking about the world, about the past, because he cannot think about the future. Even the future he's thinking about is projected from the past. So he's thinking only about the past, memories, right? So he remember the past. Remember friends, thoughts, emotions, even emotions is memories. So now how we can shift from that? If we understand that from this system we can heal, we can do some stuff, arrange, but the system will be the system. We cannot really change it. So we can do tons of therapy, but if we understand that it's more about shifting the attention, like my first guru was saying, if there was a gardener who was transplanting onion from one place to another, to one spot to another, and someone came by and asked, it was a saintly person or sage, how to find God, and he said, it's just like this. You just have to transplant your attention from here to here, like that. So if we just understand it's about attention, because attention is another name for consciousness. So when it is undivided attention or consciousness, it is peaceful, because there is no two. The moment it's separate, then it becomes always I like, I don't like, and having a preference or dislike. So if we understand this principle, we can use some tools, and mantra is a way to shift attention somewhere else. Instead of having our attention on thoughts or on of the world, we bring attention on something else. So it can be some repetition of words that we make, like God, 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 we can repeat, or I am at peace, or whatever fits us. We can create something with some words in our own language and repeat them. But we can also use some words that which is not which will shift attention away from that. Welcome. You can come in front, because we are not much. Very much welcome. So we just briefly have been starting to speak about how to shift attention from our mind is often engaged in our thoughts and the outside world, how to learn to shift attention to the center of perception, which is the only point which is not moving in a wheel. You understand my English?
Yeah.
Yes. So, and I spoke about one practice is japa or mantra. So I don't. It's not about you have to do this. I'm just sharing. We don't always explain why we do things, and we don't really understand. I'm doing that since a long time, and at the beginning I did not really get it. We do things mechanical, and so when you you shift your attention from object of perception, you think about the world all the time with the mind. So to shift attention and to japa or mantra can be help to bring back attention to the center, which means to be here. So it's not to avoid the world, because we can do. I did that mistake also, but it's part of the game too. The world is bad. First you often come to spirituality because you think the world is not so. It's not the paradise I would dream to live. There is some good and bad stuff. So the good stuff I like, but the bad stuff, some people do war, killing, raping, and so on. What is this world? So we tend to want to shift from that terrible part. It's divided, good and bad. So, and we can have this attitude to push away what we don't like, and doing even a mantra by, oh, the world is so bad, impure, I don't want to be touched by this, and it can be also an escape mode.
Do you think the more that you focus on that central point, using that analogy, the more it, as you go along, it permeates into the world, through you.
Yes.
So as you go through
It's
your
an act
daily
also.
life, this thing is when the more that you focus and whatever your time.
We may at the beginning tend to focus or center and practice, for example, japa or something else. Remember a master or anything, and we tend to do it as a controlling mode and pushing away the bad stuff, right? But slowly we may understand that, oh, I'm again created separation duality by doing that. So now to learn to do a japa or mantra, staying open, just more as a witness consciousness, loving in a loving space, which is not pushing away and in this, because it's still a mind game. But we start by this usually. I've been like this, and also it's normal because we are used to separate. When I was told to do seva I was staying in meditation centers and ashram, and so I do seva now. Seva is cleaning the toilet and this and that. And after I'm in the world, I do the world stuff. So again, we separate. And after you may understand that even, life can become seva. I can be in the world, have my job, have a wife and children and or whatever, and take life, consider life as my dharma, my karma, my destiny as dharma, and to use it as a seva. What if I would do it as a service to God, or in that direction, or to this spiritual search, and to serve others as my own self? So your life become more a seva itself, and you don't need to be away in a cave for that. You can be in the middle of the world and practice karma yoga, and say, oh, what's the difference? It's all God, So to serve others as God himself, and not to. So all these different ways. So I shifted a little bit, but the idea was how to use some tools like that, like doing japa, for example. So, but in a way which is not about closing, staying here, because the idea is I talked about this last week, but also today at the beginning. As I see it, the idea is more to learn to stay here, to not run away from discomfort, to embrace both poles of the duality, because we perpetuate the wheel of duality and separation by having a preference what is good and turning the back to what is bad. So to be here fully and to be nothing to do, just to be by what we are, our nature, and observe this character, what we call me, and observe all this interaction, how we feel, as we said, being frustrated, sad, with any event happen, and we feel sad, frustrated, and very terrible pain we can go through when somebody die or leave us, or all these things, and we cannot really avoid. So, and that's what Buddha wanted to avoid. He wanted to transcend that. Suffering, old age, and death. These three things. And he said it's not possible to avoid that. He realized that. At this level, only if you realize that your nature is not involved in that, that's the only way. But if you try to do it at this level, you can arrange it, that's all.
So you are basically not saying the character, the individual, to try to stop his tendency to run away from the bad emotion and towards the relief. You are not saying to the individual to try to stop this tendency, but you are saying just to look at the tendency.
But this is the first step. When we say do good, be good, it's like behave well. So it's like at school. So in spirituality we start by that also, say do good, be good. But it's more about behavior, So we also teach to a child to behave in a certain way to be adjustable to the society, in the norms. So spiritually also we first say, okay, behave like this. But after some time we may be able to hear that rise above this, good and bad. First you learn to behave good, to be a good human being. Okay, it's good. But then invitation will be to rise above that, to realize that consciousness, you are not that one who is behaving well or good or not good. You are that which is witnessing that. So then you can witness for example, if you feel anger or any emotion which is not pleasant, not to push it away, but because by pushing it away, what you do, you suppress in the system, or maybe sometimes you express outside and you pollute others and the environment with your. But if you learn to neither suppress nor express, just let to be here and do whatever it wants to do, and you are just consciousness experiencing that, and you found the strength to experiment what you could not before because it was too unpleasant. So the habit was to push away, push, and now slowly we gain strength, spiritual will to stay here. So we use that will to not go out, to stay here, stay home, because that's what we want. We all want to feel home. We feel not home. We want to regain the feeling of our true self. So learning to stay home and to find this inner strength, this inner will. Even if we know, we have been told free will is an illusion, yes, but as long as we have the sense of doership, we should use it as in a good way. Use the spiritual will to stay here and to develop that power to not run away from anything.
You said that if you stay, that it will show its true face. So could you give an example, like in your life, any incidents where you stayed and what was the true face like?
Any kind of emotion, for example, it can be loneliness, feeling of loneliness. So if you unknowingly, most of human beings run away from this feeling of loneliness. So we go through relationships, some activities, some action, business, this. So it's a natural tendency to not want to feel that. So I've been also experiencing that. So, and also pushing that away, to not feel that. So what can I do to not feel that, And the mind, person is busy going around. How can I avoid this? So we try all kinds of things. Maybe even drugs, alcohol, anything. But slowly, if we are taught and we understand that it's about not pushing it away, but oh, what if I willingly stay here and experience it? See how it feels to be lonely, or angry, or anything. So the way I do myself is to take it as a making, as if you are in a laboratory, labo, and you make an experience. So we could call it tantra. You want to just to feel, oh, what is it? When I put my finger in the fire, I feel what? Burnt, heat, yes. So now, if I feel depression, for example, how it feels? Oh, we have not the capacity to feel it, usually because there is so much stories around, which does not even allow to feel it. But if we willingly stay here and experience it, how is it hot? Is it cold? Is it big, small? Is it hurting here? How it feels? Just yes, let's feel it. Narrow it down, the experience, to a point of to make it as simple as possible, and to not listen to the story around. Because this is what prevents us to experience it really and to be free from it. Because it's like a devil, if you say, like death is showing, or it's scaring us. Like this, in India they call it Kal, the negative power, which is ruling the three worlds, physical, astral, causal. This, sometimes he appears as a terrible being, and it can, all this archetype that we can be scared of. So, but as long as we do this, we never know what it is. Is it really existing? Is it really real? But if you dare to look into it and say, okay, I'm here. There is, huh?
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
It seems, you just kind of reminded me there of like boredom. Yeah?
Boredom?
Yeah. It seems like what people are scared of in the world in general of nothing. It's boring. And it's why a lot of people won't come to spirituality, because of this thing, boredom. What's wrong?
Sorry, no, because excuse me, please. Yes, thank you.
Do you know what I mean? And then I got at one stage thinking, well, what is boredom?
Boredom, yes.
And it's kind of a dissatisfaction, because we're so used to being bombarded with
boredom.
Distracted. So to actually sit and be with nothing, to a lot of people, it's the worst possible thing,
But what is, if you would say, how it feels, boredom? What is your experience?
Yeah.
If you willingly, we have this strong addiction. You see so many people with their phone. It's not only, sometimes it's practical, but a lot of time it's just boredom. Out of boredom, we will jump on the phone to not feel boredom. But say, oh, what if I would feel boredom? Because it's like stickers, boredom, loneliness, or other kind of
I think
things.
like,
but if we say,
like
oh, what is it?
To sit with it, because people run away from that and try and fill it with something like gap or whatever. To avoid that boredom at all costs, it's like the worst possible thing.
But it will always come back.
Like, you reminded me when you were saying just, people learn to sit with it, and then, and just feel it, and then what? Because it seems like spirituality really, obviously you've got to tune into the finer, more subtle things that are in that, that are not gross and bombarding you all the time, So yeah, it's, I think it's a barrier that maybe has to be got through that one, sometimes.
So it come back to the same point, to be willing to be here with whatever it is, and not to hide it. We try to hide the devil, and I don't want to see like this. But as long as we are in the manipulation, and we cannot see the true face of life or of God or like that. So
kind of like a dissatisfaction with what is, rather than just accepting what is. You know, it's going to be some way different. It's to be better, or you know.
Yeah.
So Frank, like sometimes when
Can you speak a
somebody,
little louder?
yeah, so if sometimes when somebody stays with say fear, for example,
With what?
with fear or
Fear.
anxiety, sadness, loneliness, whatever. So what happens is like 1 minute passed, 2 minute passed, 3 minute passed, but the emotion is there. Sometimes it is even getting more intense.
Mm-hmm.
So what it feels like, so it feels like no, it's not working.
What is not working?
Like staying with it.
It's not leaving me.
Yeah, it's
It's
not
sticking.
It's sticking.
Yes.
So it's not working. So
But yeah, it's not working because you have an expectation
Hmm.
that it should live at a certain time. So you are still wanting
Still
that
trying to get away.
to manipulate. Yes. The only thing we can do if we are truly sincere, my view is, my experience is just to look, is there something in me which is resisting, fighting, with not wanting to feel this, or this. Because if we, to be free, to stop fighting, there is this ego, and he's always fighting for what he likes against what he don't like. So, and if we learn to notice this tendency, this resistance, so like you said, which emotion? Fear. So when fear is here, what's wrong with, we are taught that to not feel fear. It's wrong to feel fear. But what if you just be here and see, there is no, you look all the movement of resistance, of, to feel that, to experience anything. We are told that it's all Maya, it's an illusion, and it's all a dream. So if we keep on in the dream hiding like that with a blanket, so we have to be willing to keep the eyes wide open and look at anything which is all our whatever resistance, reaction, and like this, to keep eyes open. We cannot wake up if we close our eyes and put a blanket on the top of the head. So it's normal that we do that, because it would be too much to open totally. Even some guru says, I could give you this freedom just right now, but you would just burn, because it would be too much. So that's why also we hide and close. But slowly life, we say, open, my child, open. And so she, as you said, life teaches us through others. Others are also only God, because there is nothing inside God. And God through others, slowly, sometimes more, little more tough, to open, until we can really, open without any restriction, which we could call surrender. And if we have experienced that sometime, we know that surrender is really the only thing. Surrender means to stay here and to open to the worst you can experience inside, and to be willing to stay. And then that's when we understand the meaning of surrender. Because people keep asking this question, what is surrender, and like that. Like a few days ago in this satsang, people who I know who are in this business in 30, 40 years and still ask this same question. Because as long as you have not really experienced something which show you really what it is, when you could really totally let go, then you can have still this question. But if you are willing, say, okay, if I really want to know, experiment, if I am beyond death and life, beyond this experience, if I want to know that, I should be willing to face anything and to go through anything. What do I have to lose? If I'm really sincere, what do I have to lose? And you can experience something which can be immensely uncomfortable, and stay on your bed and say, okay, stay open to that and see what happens.
It's easier to surrender, Frank, when you know you have an idea what you're surrendering to, or what you know what I mean? it's very difficult to just kind of surrender. You just kind of, like everything's got to you have a
Yeah, it could be on a superficial way, at some point, surrender, like that. But life which bring us some stuff which might be really tough.
yeah.
And how can you? Yes, so it might. So
then I suppose maybe what I don't know what you call it.
Sorry?
So then I suppose maybe you would call it faith or something.
Or
like that,
practicing surrender, we could say. Practicing surrender, but we cannot once like that. It can. Some people, some Ramana Maharshi at the age of 16 just opened fully, but he was probably a ripe soul. But we are not just ready to open totally in one moment like that. So we are like little babies, and we need much more time. Open and close, open and close, open and close.
I feel like a good guru, a good teacher can impart it kind of drop by drop to avoid because
Can what? Sorry?
Impart drop by drop, bit by bit, rather than because it probably is way too much for most people to get full
But
straight away.
If the guru is
slowly.
life, like we said, then he's doing it already.
And that's kind of like just
Yes.
much better way. I think.
Yes. My guru also said, still, don't be in hurry. Don't be in hurry. Yes. And we want to, when we hear that it's your nature, the self, and you already that, I did also that mistake, like many people, to tend to, so I don't need, now it's, and to deny also the human evolution, progression, and with need times. So, but it's also part of the
maybe
game.
that could be, a lot of people with the, criticising the way that Advaita Vedanta can, Neo-Advaita can leave some people in a space, completely out there and no way of getting back to
Yes.
simplicity.
Yes, this morning we went going to see a talk of Not Sure, it's an Indian guy which is giving talks for 10 days, and he said something which catch my attention, which I totally join, is if you stop, if you declare, if you too soon say that you stop, you can block by saying I am that and all this kind of new Advaita stuff. You can block your own aspiration for that, your bhakti, your flow and this heart, and you can block it because you're impatient, and then so it's like a sword with double side. So Neo-Advaita want to cut it like that,
so
but in a way it's
do
also
anything, just realize here and now.
Yes,
and but without any kind of like.
But it tend to do that. What you said, to step out and to say too soon, and to kill your own.
Can leave.
Yeah, and you stay like we see. I saw in many spiritual circles people who are in a kind of complacence, and then they don't move out of this because they continue. Then they do party, alcohol, and we are the self and we are that. The reason. Yes, the reason. I'm not seeking anymore and all this stuff. But I was wondering among these circles, it felt something wrong. Yes, and now I know. Yes, because it's like what we explained. Yes. So yes.
I was thinking about when you were talking about surrender and all that, something that I will maybe now do discrimination or separation to groups, even though maybe they are all, but I don't know if it's the right term in English, resignation and surrender, the difference. In Spanish we would call it resignación. And if when you do resignation, I don't know if it's the right term.
You can use it, yes.
Yeah, during the life of a person, for example, they start doing things that maybe are bringing them to the wrong way, and there is a certain moment where they resign from life in the sense that the hopes that they might have when they were young of having a better world or something or whatever, or if they had them, they already resign and say, okay, this is the status that I have. I will maybe put mask and follow this life without doing what is the opposite. It would be the surrender, where I accept the things and I show my real being until it may be automatically in this flow, whatever, changes or makes me be in this wheel in the center. I don't know if I explain myself.
I'm not really get what you...
So the
Anyone
difference between resignation and surrender.
Mm-hmm.
So when you do surrender, you said that you have a feeling, and then you understand the feeling, you perceive the feeling, you don't avoid it.
Yes, it's not the feeling, but I mean, yes, well, it's that there is no condition, it's unconditional. Whatever is there, you stay here without no resistance.
You let it flow, let it feel, no? And because in life you also, people that resign from a better idea, from a better thing, they would not do the surrender side. They will themselves protect themselves.
It's a kind of control, you mean? Yes.
Control, protect
Manipulation.
themselves, put a mask, use hypocrisy, and all that,
And pretend to surrender, is what you mean?
and live live their life fitting in where the society has put them without trying to make a change. This would be resignation.
Yes. Okay, I understand. Yes. So
Because maybe the people can think that surrender means to accept the defeat of not improving yourself or changing the environment, just doing what is enough to live when to die. I don't know if they-
but the way you say it, resignation is to stay identified as a person with all your conditioning and the mask and so on, but you're not willing to uncover that. You stay in that position and live. You superficially accept.
it's a
superficially,
kind of
not
accepting mediocrity. Resignation maybe of that would be accepting kind of the state of mediocrity.
Yeah, but then it's more like probably, for example, we know people like that, all of us, who accept things, but they suppress.
Yeah.
They don't really accept it.
Yeah,
Smile, accept at this until here.
Yeah.
But if you would go below the iceberg, you see that the acceptance is not really there.
They
It's
live
only
in
on the surface.
In a delusional world, they don't accept the reality of themselves.
They don't want to really. So it's not a really surrender. It's a partial. Only a partial acceptance, superficial.
Yeah. That's why I make the division of surrender, and I don't know if it's the right term in English.
Yeah, it doesn't matter
resignation.
because we can use words as we like. Words are words.
We can use, but you use surrender in one way, and then I just use the other word, resignation.
Yes.
Because this would fit for the Spanish way. Just resign from your ideas, from what you were expecting in life, and just okay, I will fit in the society. I will do whatever.
Yes. So this would be not a real surrender. Surrender.
Yeah.
The real surrender would be to surrender to your true nature, to consciousness.
Yeah.
So bringing back attention to the center, to what is not involved in the movie, to what is always here. This would be surrender to that, because I have two choices. Surrender, we could say, it doesn't matter really which words we use. If we use the word surrender, I was using first the word of shifting attention, right? From outer object to bring back to the center, for example, of witness consciousness. But if you use the word surrender, you can surrender to your mind. You can call it surrender. If you call it, you use surrender as shifting attention, putting your attention somewhere. Wherever you put your attention, you surrender to that. So if you put your attention on your mind, your thought, you surrender to that. It's also surrender. So you want to surrender to your thoughts, to your emotions, or you want to surrender to life, to consciousness. That's the difference. You can call both surrender, but one is surrendering to the object perceived by consciousness, and the one is surrendering to consciousness itself. So there's a big difference. So when you surrender to, we learn to surrender to consciousness, then it's not to follow the mind. We stop surrendering to the mind and to the whatever. So that's opposite direction.
Yeah.
You join me there?
Yeah, I agree. I just wanted to find a term, but I agree
Yes.
that we can use surrender for
Any
for
word.
both.
You know, we can
For
use.
both, or resignation for saying
Yes.
surrender. But I was just saying that there is maybe one way of surrender that would be the first that I explained, and the second would be
Yes.
the one that you're explaining about surrender in a way that makes you maybe move in the right direction.
But you see now that words are flexible. We think words are a fixed entity and they are like unmovable. But you see, I use the same word surrender, but use it in two ways. You can surrender to your mind or surrender to consciousness or to God. You see? You can use any words and play with it. It depends if you are fixed, static inside, then you think a word is a word and it's fixed. But in truth not. You can play with it as you like. You know, like a juggler like that.
Okay.
See, that's like a really good point with kind of spirituality in general. That you know, once the words and the concepts become too concrete, then it can be a hindrance.
Fixed. Then you become
Yeah.
fixed in a fixed position, and you're already in
Yeah.
a fixed position of the mind.
Yeah.
So to always be flexible and to always be ready to see the word from different. Oh, what if I look at the word surrender from here,
Yeah.
here, like that? So it's all about, you know, whether you use the word shifting attention, surrendering, or any kind of words, it's all the same. Finally, it depends. Where do you stand? Yes. So that's how I see it. So that's why I even recently followed a training which I would not have done in the past, but which is coaching, and because I found to live in the world, I was kind of person I was thinking more, you know, to be away from the world in the cave and spirituality like that. But I realized that to be in the world, in action, is a path also to uncover what is hidden in yourself. If you stay hidden, blocked, hidden, hide, then you will keep your stuff. But if you say, okay, I go into action, you know, like in the field of the war, like Arjuna maybe. So, but to see, okay, I can even have some objects, some goals in my life. I know if you had some spiritual insight, you know that the goals are, you will never be satisfied by any goal fully, because they will be rich in time and space, and they are relative and dependent to time and circumstances. But if you understand the real purpose of having goal is to have a direction in life, to reach a goal, even if you're aware that goal is like a mirage, it will not really satisfy your thirst because it's placed in time and in space. But to have this direction, to move and to stay like a human being is standing on his feet and the position straight, the chest open, and move forward towards the goal. And by having that movement, then it will bring out, because by moving straight, walking on earth toward a goal, then you will meet some other objects of consciousness, some people, some challenges, some situation, and this will trigger some point and bring out some stuff that you don't need. But if you stay in your cage, you will never have this blessing in a way, you could say. So it depends on people. Some people can have a life of a monk or whatever and to stay in monastery, but to be in I feel that the tendency now it's more and more. In the US, in California, there was a lot more monastery and ashram in the past, and many have been closing because the tendency seems to be in the world, spirituality in the world, in action, and to walk straight, open, chest open, and to not fear, to experience things. So that's how I see it. That's why also I do that.
Do you go to places to see if you are already in the stage of accepting anything, or do you go, or no? Because what you said, maybe you go to war and then you are not able to surrender the right way.
But I don't need to go anywhere because here in India I am sensitive to sound. So I learn I can. That's my main dharma, I would say. So most of things I'm quite good, but sound. So I take it as a dharma also in India, where I live in France and in a very silent place in the mountain. So when I come here, it's like it's so much construction and this and that and so. But so in my story, so that's how I can open to that.
Your trigger would only be the sound, or you have other triggers?
These main things. It can be also in the relationship, but not too much. But sometimes it can happen, some things. But
anyway, I feel that no matter where you put yourself, some stuff will come through.
Of course.
Some stuff will come through. No matter what kind of position.
Yes.
Yeah, because when I was in lockdown, like I had almost
lockdown.
When lockdown was there, so the lockdown, the COVID lockdown.
Yes.
So basically there was complete cutout, but still there was more stuff coming out than in general.
Yes. So it's all yes.
So
We think that we are living in the illusory world of betterness, the dream of betterness, that something will be better off. And it can appear like this for some time, but it will not work ultimately. So to realize that, as you said, always something will come. It will never stop. So it's better to see it like that and to deal the best way we can and to take things, to find the willpower to be stronger and stronger in the way, not in ego, but in the spiritual will, to stay here, to not run away, to not go out. Because we create duality we leave home, we want to feel home, we want to feel good. But we are constantly leaving home by following our mind, listening to our mind, to our thoughts, to our emotion, to our body feeling. So we are constantly leaving home, and we say, where is my home? But you are every minute leaving your home, and you are wondering where is your home. So that's why we can use some practice like japa, for example, mantra, or any other, whatever tools which help us support this inner strength to stay here. Because home cannot be anywhere else. If we think it's somewhere else, I'm sure we might be wrong. So
even though there is what you say about betterness, that we think that there's something is going to be better, still we are trying to improve ourselves, no? And still we should maybe make the environment better, the community where we live better. So
yes, it's a paradox,
yeah.
But it's more about inner feeling of home. Outside, of course, we can have a home and improve the community or the person or like that. But if our real intention is to surrender to consciousness, which is not personal, which is witnessing all that, if it is our highest goal, and that we keep it always our highest priority to surrender to consciousness or to God or to self, then life will unfold. We will be more and more aware that I'm not doing anything. What want to improve? What want to find a better home, a better place, a better job? What? Energy tend to find always something better, something more comfort, more this. So it's a natural way of energy to finding the best place, the best thing. But am I that who is trying to always go in that direction of betterness? Or am I surrendering to consciousness which has no preference? You see? So it's not about trying to see the paradox of it. What I am, I surrender to that which has no preference, but it's a natural movement of energy to have a preference. But now, the problem is not of the nature of things, the problem is of identifying with it. If I think I am that which has a preference, this is where we suffer, because we place ourselves there. So that's why our job would be, our highest priority, to place ourselves as consciousness and to surrender to that fully, and allow the play of nature to go as it should, and no doership.
Sometimes it can start to sound very kind of mental in a way, or you know, it's just words again, I suppose. You know, like when you kind of, even if we talk about consciousness, it seems like it's some kind of blank sort of. But the source, I think, there's a big role to play in feeling, you know, because when it seems like when we're in touch with that source, there's a harmony, a feeling, a peace that comes, that appears, which kind of really, to stay focused with that, kind of evens a lot of things out in life, you know. It's kind of, and then you know, you feel like you kind of know what it is that you're kind of trying to achieve through everything that you do in your life, like, you know what I mean?
It uncover itself
because it's what
by
when it's not there,
what you
you're
mean.
looking for it, you know. When it's not like it's a natural state to be. So you realise that everything that you strive for and that you're doing, if you don't know that, you're trying to fulfil and reach that through whatever it is.
So
And
that's
like
why
you were saying with
yeah.
goals, if you have that feeling already, you're in touch with that, you can do whatever you need to do, knowing that it's not going to give you the...
Yes,
yeah.
yes. Yeah, so nature is unfolding.
Mm.
It's only a problem of identification. If I identify and think I am that which is separate and which has a need always for the best and always in this business. So it's not about stopping nature of things to be as they are, but realizing I am surrendering to...
Yeah. I don't hear that too often in such things about, you know, feeling, you know, feeling, but not feeling emotions and feeling, because to know peace you have to feel it, you know. So that, do you know what I mean? So no,
but
no
it
really
can be
says-
tricky. If it can be something which can come and go also. So we don't.
Yeah,
So
it can, but the only reason it would come and go is because the attention isn't there, you know.
uncover. It's covered by something else.
But this wavering attention that goes here, there, and everywhere. You know?
So we constantly have to bring it back. As long as we need to do that, to bring it back to the center, we do it. And unless we don't need, until we don't need to do it anymore.
That is kind
That's
of
what
a
is
reward in
said.
itself, isn't it? To kind of, that's kind of a reward in itself. That's the kind of to get to that center, to get to that source, and feel the natural being. Then, almost like you don't really need to. Things will start to fit into place, I think, more, and then it maybe becomes very simple. Then.
Yes, the more we go, as my experience is also sad. The more we go, the more we realize it's very simple, more and more simple. The more you come closer to realize it's about being.
Yes.
And you notice that the sense of doership is fading away, fading away, fading away, fading away. And
Maybe,
more and
yeah.
more you feel it's just...
And also, yeah, like you say, surrender, maybe if you know that feeling, then that's what you're surrendering to, you know, in a way. you know that will take care of everything for you.
But surrender is start by surrendering to a guru, to God, to anything, outer master, inner master. So, and life will teach us to also let go of that. So it's also a nature of things.
Sometimes it can seem so complicated, but I think really, you know,
It's complicated for the mind, yes. Yes. But to watch the complication of the mind and stay quiet, you can do that. You know? It's all happening in the mind, like I was telling this morning. To just see it's not my mind, your mind, his mind, just one mind, universal mind. And just see, oh, mind is always in business. So you let him.
yes,
and
let
you
it
just-
do it.
Yes. Less and less interested. I'm getting less and less interested. This, yes. So, like that. But we still have interest, so it go back, and then say, oh, until we are really tired. So, okay. So, maybe for your 31st December, ready for a new year, you want to have a trance party or something? I will not, but yes. So maybe today we can
It's early.
cut it like that. If anything you want to say before to,
Yeah.
to yes, anything
So,
before to.
just a small question, like with this friend, I had this conflict on the Christmas party that I
Yes.
mentioned. So what's happening is that even when I'm thinking of this friend, like my body is contracting a little
Yes.
bit,
Yes.
and sense feeling of discomfort
Yes.
is coming and some fear. I also am from time to time. I think the tendency to blame him is
Yeah.
coming.
So let's stay with already the closing. So after talking about that, what do you think would be the best to do about it?
Yes, to stay
And
and to move towards the consciousness rather than
no, just to relax.
Mm.
You know, if you feel tense because you close, what can you do? Relax. So learn to relax. So you can use anything which is useful for you to relax. Mantra, meditation, think about God, listening some whatever helps you to relax, not in an escaping mode, but just to be okay, willing, to be willingly wanting to stay here and relax and release. Let it have its own life. This energy that you feel, it's like an energy, which came out of your hidden iceberg somewhere, come out through an outer trigger. So now, if I don't do anything with it, I let it do what it wants. I'm just your Shiva consciousness who is witnessing that. So just realize your Shiva and you have the power to stay open. Should not be afraid to experience that discomfort. So learn to relax, open. Maybe you do chant, whatever is good. You can use the breathing, anything. Learning to stay open. You think about your friend, now you can do it. You think about him, can you relax? You observe first the contraction and then you don't try to manipulate anything, just relax. And stay with the discomfort and yes, enjoy the process. Just experiment it as if you would be in a laboratory. Nothing more than that. Just be. If you make it simple, very simple. Just be here. And that's the best blessing I think God can give us, to realize we are just being. I have nothing to do. God never asks us to do anything. That's my experience. The biggest blessing is to realize God don't ask us anything to do, because our nature is not to do, is to be. So just be with that discomfort. Allow it to be. and see what happens. And your friend, you can also at the same time picture him as a blessing. Is God using him to bless you? Can you open to that and open to the love of God who want to bless you? Maybe you can try that. No, because you are dreaming. We are in this dream, and your friend is also a dream character. So it's just an experience. So be willing to experiment. No need to hide. If we hide, we keep the dream alive.
I have one practical question related with this. That usually I meet him every 1 or 2 days, but now I'm not seeing him for past 2-3 days.
Mm-hmm.
And because the reason is because of I'm not sure how it will go, and if it is even appropriate to meet him with all my discomfort and all these mixed emotions towards him coming up. So do you have any suggestion, like on a practical level, as to what should be the way, like first to work around my stuff first fully, and then when I feel like I'm clear, then I go and meet him, or should I meet him?
If you just allow yourself, allow that to be as it is, the natural movement will follow. The guidance will come from inside. It will come naturally. You will feel, the move towards him or not. The answer will come not from somebody else outside, but if you just be with that, it will come, the guidance. And you just will see your body will call him or meet him or not. It will be it's also a way for you to learn to detach from this sense of doing, being the doer. You just observe the great intelligence, life, how it unfolds. Again, you do it like in a labo, and you just witness, observe. What will be the next move? Be curious like a child, and observe how it will. What is it? Curious, just be curious, interested. Curious, open, and interested. How it will work. Be fascinated even. Oh my God, let's see. It's an experience. Don't make it something. No, just experiment. And stay fresh as a baby who is willing to experience life. As that's what I will do.
Thank you.
And trust that life will give you the best. If you open, life will give you the best for sure. If we close, then how can nothing can work? Life wants to touch us, but we close. If we open, then life can flow. That's how I experience it. Yes. Anything else before to cut? No? So, Hallelujah. Om Namah Shivaya. And there is, I did not say at the beginning, so there is, I don't take money, anything, but if you want to give a little donation for the place, which is given by the restaurant, there is a box here. You can give something, so it's not for me, it's for here. And thank you for your generosity for this. And second thing is there is a little book. I said at the beginning that I have a WhatsApp group with, I do some free Zoom meeting, not now, but when I'm not in India. And we'll also share some things, whatever. So if you want to be part of this group, which is called Living Eternity, we are not, it's a small group. You can leave your phone number and be in this WhatsApp group. That's the second thing. Yes. And third thing is I wish you a very happy New Year, 2024, and my best wish would be to to come into this new year with to be open and to see life from a fresh perspective, and to take that direction of being willing to experiment life as it is, without going through this, yes, being a slave of the mind. So it would be my best wishing for including me. Yes.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. Yes, thank you. So it would be some meeting like that every Sunday until 11 February. So welcome.
11 February.
Thank you.
Okay.